Namaskar, a warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Navneet Singh and with me is Abhineet Shukla, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India is marching towards becoming self-reliant in every sector, asserts India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Chinese President Xi Jinping secures unprecedented third term in power. Canada bans new handgun sales in latest gun control action. Former US President Donald Trump ordered to testify in Capitol assault probe case. In Afghanistan, Taliban kills 6 Islamic State members in raid in Kabul. Indian Space Research Organization to launch its first dedicated commercial mission, LVM-3, carrying 36 satellites in few hours from now. In cricket, India and Pakistan to lock horns in their opening match of T20 World Cup at Melbourne on Sunday. New Zealand beat Australia and England outplay Afghanistan in Saturday's matches. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday said, India is marching towards becoming self-reliant in every sector and the target of becoming a developed nation can be achieved with the contributions from everyone. He was speaking through video conferencing on launch of a mega recruitment drive for 10 lakh personnel.
विकसित भारत के संकल्प की सिद्धि के लिए हम आत्मनिर्भर भारत के रास्ते पर चल रहे हैं। इसमें हमारे इनोवेटर्स, हमारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, हमारे उद्यमी, हमारे किसान, सर्विसेज और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग से जुड़े हर किसी की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। यानी विकसित भारत का निर्माण सबके प्रयास से ही संभव है।
Mr. Modi said India is the 5th biggest economy now and this feat has been achieved due to the reforms undertaken in the last 8 years. He said the government has set a target to spend 100 lakh crore rupees on infrastructure development in the country. In today's hotspot section, we bring you news commentary on Prime Minister inaugurates Mission Life.
Prime Minister launched Mission Life in Kevadia in the presence of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Mission Life, that is Lifestyle for Environment, was launched at the Statue of Unity in Ekta Nagar in Kevadia. Mission Life will be an India-led global mass movement towards protecting and preserving the environment. The idea of life was introduced by the Prime Minister during the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference of Parties COP26 in Glasgow last year. The idea promotes an environmentally conscious lifestyle that focuses on mindful and deliberate utilization instead of mindless and wasteful consumption. The Life movement aims to utilize the power of collective action and nudge individuals across the world to undertake simple climate-friendly actions in their daily lives. The Life movement additionally also seeks to leverage the strength of social networks to influence social norms surrounding climate. The mission plans to create and nurture a global network of individuals, namely pro-planet people, P3, who will have a shared commitment to adopt and promote environmentally friendly lifestyles. Through the P3 community, the mission seeks to create an ecosystem that will reinforce and enable environmentally friendly behaviors to be self-sustainable. The mission envisions replacing the prevalent use and dispose economy governed by mindless and destructive consumption with a circular economy which would be defined by mindful and deliberate utilization. During Prime Minister Modi's leadership as Chief Minister of Gujarat, the state became Asia's first state to begin a separate climate change department in 2009. Prime Minister expressed delight at the support that has been showered upon India for taking up the Mission Life initiative and thanked the heads of all nations for sending in their congratulatory messages on the occasion. When the standards are exceptional, the records are huge, the Prime Minister said. Highlighting the significance of the launch taking place in Gujarat, the Prime Minister informed that Gujarat was the first state in the country to initiate steps in the direction of renewable energy and climate protection, be it installing solar panels on canals or initiating water conservation projects for the drought-affected areas of the state. Gujarat has always come forward as a leader and a trendsetter. The Prime Minister pointed out that climate change is an issue only related to policy that leads to a thought process that leaves this all-important issue only to the government or international organizations. He said that people are experiencing the effects of climate change in their surroundings, and in the last few decades, unexpected calamities were witnessed. This is making it amply clear that climate change goes beyond only policy making, and people themselves are finding that they should contribute as individuals, families, and as communities to the environment. Prime Minister remarked the mantra of Mission Life is lifestyle for environment. Emphasizing the benefits of Mission Life, the Prime Minister said that it connects the powers of the people for the protection of this earth, and it teaches them to utilize it in a better way. He underlined that Mission Life makes the fight against climate change democratic, in which everyone can contribute within their capacity. Mission Life inspires us to do all that can be done in our everyday life to protect the environment. Mission Life believes that the environment can be protected by making changes in a lifestyle, the Prime Minister said. He gave the example of the adoption of LED bulbs in India for reducing electricity bills and protecting the environment. Mahatma Gandhi was one of those thinkers who long ago understood the importance of environmental protection and living life in harmony with nature. He developed the concept of trusteeship. Mission Life makes us all trustees of the environment, said the Prime Minister. He recalled that India has had the tradition of worshipping nature for thousands of years. The Vedas precisely mention the importance of elements of nature like water, earth, land, fire and water. The Prime Minister quoted the Atharva Veda and recited, Mata Bhumi Putrahem Prithivya, that is, the earth is a mother and we are her children. The Prime Minister threw light on the concept of reduce, reuse and recycle and circular economy and mentioned that it has been a part of the lifestyle of Indians for thousands of years. Leaders of France, the UK, Argentina, Georgia, Guyana, Madagascar, Mauritius, Estonia, Nepal and the Maldives send congratulatory messages to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the occasion.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Saturday held a telephonic conversation with his German counterpart Annalena Baerbock, covering a range of issues. The call was initiated by the German Foreign Minister. Dr. Jaishankar in a tweet said, the two leaders held discussions on bilateral relationship between India and Germany, sustainable development and the Ukraine conflict. India's approach to the Ukraine conflict will continue to be people-centric. This was stated by India's Deputy Permanent Representative, Ambassador R. Ravindra at UN Security Council briefing on Ukraine. He said the country is providing both humanitarian assistance to Ukraine and economic support to some of its neighbors in the global south under economic distress. He added that New Delhi has consistently called for immediate cessation of hostilities and end to violence and call upon both sides to return to the path of dialogue and diplomacy.
India's Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan will be on a 2-day visit to Senegal from Monday. He will participate in the 8th edition of the Dakar International Forum on Peace and Security. This is the first time that India is participating in the forum at a ministerial level. The Dakar International Forum has become a key event for decision makers involved in Africa. The participation of Mr. Muralidharan in the Dakar Forum underscores the importance that India attaches to the peace, security and developmental issues concerning Africa. The visit is also in line with India's policy to intensify and deepen its engagement with Africa. The 20th National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party ended on Saturday with President Xi Jinping, also General Secretary of the party, securing an unprecedented third term in power. Immediately after the 20th Party Congress concluded, state news agency Xinhua announced the names of 205 members of the new Central Committee, which oversees the party's 97 million members. On the expected lines, Xi's name was on the committee's members list, effectively confirming that he will continue for another 5 years after a decade in power. The new Central Committee will hold its first plenary session tomorrow, where the list will be endorsed and a new Politburo and its standing committee will be decided. 4 members of the 19th Politburo Standing Committee, China's highest decision-making body, are missing from the list. They are 67-year-old Premier Li Keqiang, 72-year-old National People's Congress Chairman Li Shanzhu, 67-year-old Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference Chairman Wang Yang, and 68-year-old Vice Premier Hang Shang. All the 4 leaders who fail to make it to the list will not get any important state or government position. This means they will go into full retirement from politics, 2 of them within the customary retirement age limit of 68 years. Experts said by retiring the 4 veterans, Xi opened more seats at the top for the promotion of his choice of young leaders. While the party Congress decides on the leadership and party hierarchy, changes in key government posts, including that of Premier, will be confirmed in March.
Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and his Australian counterpart Anthony Albanese agreed to boost practical defence cooperation between the 2 nations amid growing assertiveness by China in the Asia-Pacific region. Japanese Prime Minister, who is on a 3-day visit to Australia, signed a joint declaration with Mr. Albanese. In the declaration, Japan and Australia have agreed to take action against countries violating international rules and norms. In the latest declaration, the 2 leaders confirmed the significance of a free and open Indo-Pacific, a vision advocated by former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. In 2007, Abe and then Australian Prime Minister John Howard signed a document that recognized common strategic interests and security benefits embodied in their respective alliance relationships with the United States. Japan imports natural gas, iron ore and other vital resources from Australia, making it a key partner. Money laundering and terrorist financing watchdog Financial Action Task Force (FATF) has added Myanmar to the list of high-risk countries, externally known as blacklist, with strategic deficiencies in regimes to counter money laundering, terrorist financing and proliferation financing. Myanmar is the 3rd country to be added in this list, along with North Korea and Iran. Myanmar was added to the FATF list of high-risk countries for its failure to address strategic deficiencies as committed by it in February 2020. FATF called upon its member states to apply due diligence measures in financial dealings with Myanmar proportionate to the risk without hindering flow of funds for humanitarian assistance, legitimate non-profit organization activity and remittances. It called upon Myanmar to take steps to demonstrate an increase in freezing and seizing and confiscation of criminal proceeds and property of equivalent value. Countries like Myanmar, included in the list of jurisdictions subject to a call for action, are required to take steps to counter money laundering, terrorist financing and financing of proliferation. The meeting of the FATF under the presidency of Singapore concluded on Saturday. Delegates from over 200 jurisdictions of the global network participated in the discussions at its headquarters in Paris.
Financial Action Task Force (FATF) has removed Pakistan from its grey list after 4 years. This inglorious grey listing has adversely impacted Pakistan's imports, exports, remittances and limited its access to international lending. Pakistan has been on the Paris-based watchdog grey list for deficiencies in its counter-terror financing and anti-money laundering regimes since 2018. The global watchdog on terror financing and money laundering has said that Islamabad will continue to work with the Asia-Pacific Group on money laundering to further improve its anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing system. It has also welcomed Pakistan's significant progress in improving its anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing regime. The decision was taken by the FATF in its plenary held in Paris on Friday. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan on Saturday moved the Islamabad High Court, challenging the order of the Election Commission of Pakistan (ECP) that disqualified him in the Tosha Khana case. The case is related to the hiding of proceeds from the sale of gifts that the cricketer turned politician is alleged to have received from foreign leaders. Local media reported that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI chairman asked the High Court to declare, find and hold the ECP order against the settled principles of law in Article 63 of the Constitution. Imran Khan also requested to suspend the operation of the order and restrain further proceedings till the final disposal of the petition. The Election Commission of Pakistan on Friday, in its verdict in the Tosha Khana case, disqualified PTI chief and ruled that he is no more a member of National Assembly. After the ruling, clashes erupted between Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf workers and police, leading to violent unrest in the country.
In Afghanistan, Taliban security forces killed 6 Islamic State members in an overnight operation in Kabul. A spokesman for the ruling group's administration said on Saturday that the Islamic State members killed in the raid on their hideout were involved in 2 major attacks in recent weeks. One attack was on a city mosque and the other on a tutoring institute in which dozens of female students were killed. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back to World News. In Canada, regulations prohibiting the sale, purchase or transfer of handguns took effect on Friday. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said the measure builds on earlier efforts banning handgun imports. The Canadian Prime Minister was speaking at a press conference at Surrey in British Columbia, which was attended by family members of gun violence victims and other advocates. According to the Prime Minister's office, the handgun freeze was announced in May alongside proposed legislation that would implement the nation's strongest gun control measures in 40 years as part of Prime Minister Trudeau's plan to tackle gun violence. The action stops people from buying, selling or transferring handguns within Canada and prevents them from bringing newly acquired handguns into the country. The office said under the executive action, any handgun application submitted before Friday will still be processed. The U.S. House Committee investigating the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol has asked former President Donald Trump to testify in the riot case. The House Committee issued an order yesterday against Mr. Trump, who lawmakers say is the central cause of a coordinated, multi-part effort to overturn the results of 2020 election. The 9-member panel issued a letter to Trump's lawyers demanding his testimony under oath by 14th November and outlining a request for a series of corresponding documents, including personal communications between the former president and members of Congress as well as extremist groups.
Former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson arrived back in Britain on Saturday as he attempts to win a second term as Prime Minister only weeks after he was forced to step down. Some colleagues have warned his comeback could create more political chaos. The potential candidates to replace Prime Minister Liz Truss, who dramatically quit on Thursday after only 6 weeks in power, were embarking on a frantic weekend of lobbying to secure enough nominations to enter the leadership contest before Monday's deadline. Mr. Johnson, who was on a holiday in the Caribbean when Ms. Truss resigned, has received the support of dozens of Conservative lawmakers but needs to secure 100 nominations to be considered. Former Defence Minister Penny Mordaunt became the first candidate to officially declare an intention to run to be the next leader of the Conservative Party, but Mr. Johnson and Mr. Rishi Sunak, once his finance minister, led potential contenders ahead of voting next week. According to media reports, Mr. Sunak is the first leadership candidate to hit the threshold of 100 nominations to enter the contest before Monday's deadline. Mr. Johnson currently has about half that support. Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO will launch its first dedicated commercial mission of Launch Vehicle Mark III LVM-3 from Satish Dhawan Space Centre at Sriharikota in Indian city of Andhra Pradesh on the intervening night of Saturday and Sunday. The launch of ISRO's heaviest launcher will be a historic milestone for its commercial arm New Space India Limited. All preparations for the historic launch of LVM-3M2 carrying 36 satellites began on Saturday morning. According to officials at the Satish Dhawan Space Centre at Sriharikota, the countdown has been progressing smoothly. Last-minute checks for the launch are being monitored. We have a report.
Scientists at the Space Center are busy monitoring the finishing tests of LVM-3M2. The 43.5-meter tall rocket weighing 644 tons will blast off at the first pad at the Shar Center in the midnight skies today. The third generation of geosynchronous launch vehicle will put in orbit the OneWeb satellites. 19 minutes after the launch, the rocket will put in orbit all the 36 satellites one by one. OneWeb, which is a joint venture between India Bharati Global and the UK government, will be the first commercial launch of GSLV Mark III. The broadband communication satellites will be operated in a LEO polar orbit. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for crores of people across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with the series Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashvani ke saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio. In today's episode, we bring you the story of India's achievements in sports from 2014 onwards.
India has made several achievements in various fields after independence, and sports is no exception to it. Indian players have made the country proud from time to time. Union Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports has taken several steps to encourage sports in the country. The Sports Authority of India is credited for the advancement of sports and games in the country. The picture of the world of sports has changed in the country in the last 8 years. The reason for this success is the government's Target Podium Scheme, TOPS, which was launched in May 2015. Under the scheme, main focus is given to athletics, badminton, boxing, archery, wrestling and shooting sports. The objective of this scheme was to identify the talent of those sportspersons who have the potential to win Olympic medals and then nurture them. After TOPS, the government started the Khelo India scheme to give a platform to young and talented players, which started in 2017-18. Fit India movement was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 29th of August 2019 on the occasion of National Sports Day.
फिटनेस एक शब्द नहीं है, बल्कि स्वस्थ और समृद्ध जीवन की एक जरूरी शर्त है. हमारी संस्कृति में तो हमेशा से ही फिटनेस पर बहुत ज्यादा जोर दिया गया है.
Fit India movement has played an important role in giving a new direction to sports in the country. Sports Talent Search Portal was launched in 2017 to recognize the best talent among the youth of the country. In the 2014 Incheon Asian Games, India won a total of 57 medals, including 11 gold. The men's hockey team had won the gold medal in the Asian Games after a long wait of 16 years. India hosted the Men's Under-17 Football World Cup in 2017. This was the first time that India had hosted a FIFA tournament. India's star female badminton player PV Sindhu won the women's singles title at the 2019 World Championships in Basel. Sindhu is a silver medalist at the 2016 Rio Olympics and a bronze medalist at the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. The year 2018 was great for India. Mary Kom won the world boxing title.
The judges have scored this bout as a unanimous points decision in favour of the red corner.
Mary Kom is beaming from ear to ear because the iconic Indian boxer has just claimed her first Commonwealth Games gold medal in this her Commonwealth Games debut. Delight up in the stands. Mary Kom giving thanks, a unanimous points decision victor over Northern Ireland's Christina O'Hara.
In the year 2018, Hima Das became the first Indian woman to win gold at the IAAF World Under-20 Athletics Championships when she won the 400-meter race title in Finland. Manika Batra won India's first table tennis gold in women's singles at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. In the same year, Deepa Karmakar bagged gold in the Gymnastics World Cup. India won a total of 7 medals in the 2021 Olympics, including 1 gold, 2 silver and 4 bronze. In the Paralympics, Indian players performed the best, winning 5 gold, 8 silver and 6 bronze medals to finish 24th. India also created history in the track and field athlete event in the Olympics when javelin thrower Neeraj won the gold medal.
टोक्यो 2020 में ट्रैक एंड फील्ड के जैवलिन मुकाबले में स्वर्ण पदक जीत लिया है भारत के थ्रोअर नीरज चोपड़ा ने. कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट, एशियन गेम्स गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट और अब ओलंपिक गेम्स के गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट नीरज चोपड़ा.
India's performance in the Commonwealth Games was also phenomenal in 2022 as it finished 4th with 61 medals. India dominated in weightlifting, wrestling and boxing. The men's badminton team created history by winning the Thomas Cup title for the first time in 2022. In the same year, the country's star wrestler Vinesh Phogat created history by winning a bronze medal at the World Wrestling Championships. The Chess Olympiad was also successfully organized in Mamallapuram, Tamil Nadu for the first time in India.
The Indian festival of Dhanteras was celebrated on Saturday. Also known as Dhantrayodashi or Dhanvantari Jayanti, the day is considered auspicious for new purchases, especially gold or silver articles and new utensils. The day also sees heavy purchase of appliances and automobiles. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted people on the occasion.
The 7th Ayurveda Day will be celebrated worldwide on Sunday at a grand scale. Dhanvantari Jayanti has been celebrated as Ayurveda Day since 2016 to promote India's most ancient and well-documented system of medicine. India will begin its campaign at the T20 World Cup with a match against Pakistan at the Melbourne Cricket Ground on Sunday. India and Pakistan last met at the 2022 Asia Cup in Dubai, where both the teams won a match each. In the opening match of the Super 12 stage on Saturday, New Zealand beat defending champion Australia by 89 runs. Chasing a target of 201 runs, Australia were all out in 17.1 overs. For New Zealand, Southey and Santner bagged 3 wickets each. Put into bat first, New Zealand scored 200 runs for the loss of 3 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. For Australia, Hazelwood scalped 2 wickets. In the second match, England beat Afghanistan by 5 wickets. Chasing a target of 113 runs, England scored the required runs in 18.1 overs. Earlier, put into bat, Afghanistan were all out for 112 runs in 19.4 overs. For England, Sam Curran claimed 5 wickets, while Stokes and Wood bagged 2 wickets each.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world, as reported in the foreign press. The Washington Post observes that Meloni sworn in as Italy's first female Prime Minister. The Financial Times in a lead item says Biden warns Republicans will explode the deficit if they retake Congress. The Guardian writes airline hired for UK's Rwanda deportations pulls out of scheme. The Wall Street Journal reports that China's Xi Jinping moves to extend rule as top Communist Party rivals retire. The Asahi Shimbun says Japan, Australia upgrade security pact against China threat. The Globe and Mail writes Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak lead race to be Britain's next Prime Minister. South China Morning Post reports that Singapore's George Yeo hopes China will stay out of long dark tunnel as Russia and the West made into nuclear talk. A quick look at the headlines once again. India is marching towards becoming self-reliant in every sector, asserts India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Chinese President Xi Jinping secures unprecedented third term in power. Canada bans new handgun sales in latest gun control action. Former US President Donald Trump ordered to testify in Capitol assault probe case. In Afghanistan, Taliban kills 6 Islamic State members in raid in Kabul. Indian Space Research Organization to launch its first dedicated commercial mission, LVM-3, carrying 36 satellites in few hours from now. In cricket, India and Pakistan to lock horns in their first opening match of T20 World Cup at Melbourne on Sunday. New Zealand beat Australia and England outplay Afghanistan in Saturday's matches. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artist from Finland.
Vaishnav Janata tene kahiye pir parai jani re para tuke upakar kare toye manabhimana nani re Vaishnav Janata tene kahiye pir parai jani re
And with that, we end this bulletin. We will be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.